Hello, and welcome to the War in the Pacific. It is the 15th of January, 1942, in the Wirraway versus Encircled play-by-mail campaign. This turn should see two important actions: our attempt to reinforce on on Fiji, by invading Nadi, the base adjacent, re-invading, and should see the initial crossings into Singapore. What else happens? You never know. So I assume this was one of his picket ships. It's an AKL. He was setting out to try to keep track of my carriers, or it's returning. Okay, so we get into Nadi without running into any submarines or surface ships. Now, this amphibious task force isn't ideally configured for super rapid offload. So we'll see if any interdiction occurs, but at least the infantry is probably already ashore. Yep. There were also no mines at Nadi. He has a lot of destroyer mine layers in the south pack, so I wonder where all the mines are. So that AVP, which was presumably at Waingapo when the paratroopers dropped and destroyed the patrol aircraft, is now, looks like it's heading to Australia, which makes sense. So he sighted Carrier Division 3 off Ceylon, which was intentional. Okay. We're going to retake Wenchao and zeros for sweeping. I'm sorry, Wuchao, not Wenchao. We already have Wenchao. Initially, I just occupied Wuchao with an infantry battalion because I didn't have anything else to spare. He drove that battalion back a few days ago, so now we're going to send in a division. So we were able to suppress the airfield at Palembang. You know, this idea just occurred to me. I wonder if it would make sense, those AKLs trying to draw supplies from Palembang and move them to Manila. That's probably what's going on. That makes a lot more sense. sure what these guys are doing. Unescorted. Obviously, they're trying to disrupt my advance, but all the units were just like 2 miles away. So his B-17 rates. These don't do anything important. Submarines. So I've been trying to track my carriers with his submarines. Does a pretty good job. Okay. So far, it doesn't look like any strikes against my invasion task force at Fiji, which was a key issue. So now the buffaloes show up. Okay. Looks like should be fully unloaded at Nadi now in terms of troops. Note, I moved the ships out of the harbor at Davao due to air attacks. We're just preparing for a next attack. He's reinforced here. Okay. So 5 divisions cross. Didn't mean for the artillery to cross, but look. So almost got a 1-to-1. Didn't drop the forts. Nice. Well, this seems like a lot. It's other than not dropping the forts, decent good attack. A decent first attack. This coastal gun unit, which was driven out to Tilacjap. Boy, those are tongue twisters. About more than probably 2 weeks ago, is hanging out at Jakarta, and my engineers are getting some combat experience. We reinforce that Guam with one more small special naval landing force unit. Looks like we're recovering faster than he is. Okay, speed through the end of the turn. Take a quick look around. Nothing notable in the illusions this turn. We've got a fast transport task force resupplying Shima. In China, you notice he did not attempt to bomb the armor unit, so it has rejoined the recon unit and they're off to the races. So the effort to bombard Lanchao worked so far. 104th Division. We'll see what he's got there. It's a little difficult for me to exert much air power here because Canton doesn't have a lot of aviation support yet. My main base is at Hankow, but we'll read one way or another. We're going to take Wuchao, retake Wuchao. Nanyang, it's now up to capacity 2, so I can move some light bombers in here. I just need more aviation support, which we will get there. Okay, let's take a look at Burma. So we took Rangoon, and now he's weathered. None of our aircraft flew, so he was able to get another hex on us, which is going to make this race a little tighter, but not too bad. Well, we're redeploying paratroopers. We'll drop them on Remory Island and cut off in the Times 3 terrain, so he can't get that far if he decides to go that way. He may try to retreat into Upper Burma. Nevertheless, we've cut the flow of supplies to Paoshan. So that's was the primary purpose of this force in this initial phase. And that's been achieved. Let's take a look at Singapore. Artillery got across without issue. Again, I thought I don't usually cross with artillery. Not a big problem. So 4th Division took a few casualties, not many. Very disrupted. 21st Division, actually pretty good shape. 5th Division took the brunt of the fighting. Not a lot of actual losses. 84, 233. And the 5th Division will recover the fastest. 18th Division's in good shape. Again, they're very disrupted, and so is the 33rd. Very good. And then right behind them, 38th Division will be crossing. 38th Division wasn't supposed to cross with the 1st Division. It's a reinforcing division. Obviously very close. Tanks are a turn away, so all these reinforcements will arrive either this coming turn or the next turn. So the phasing is working pretty well. And then the 2nd Division, which is still broken down into its component part, is flowing over as reinforcements. Individual regiments can get annihilated in this sort of assault. So, 2nd Division, I didn't want, and I don't have the political points to reform it as one of its regiments. The 4th is assigned to a different headquarters. So it will flow over as reinforcement. Anyway, good stuff. Singapore should fall within a week, certainly by the end of the month, which really is our goal. Both these regiments arrived in good shape. And supply is unloading nicely, so that will be good. And it turns out to be just a tiny little base force unit. Airfield damage has closed the airfield currently to offensive operations. So it has to be 29 or lower to conduct an offensive attack. So at least for the moment, he can't use any dive bombers or anything else to mess with me. And he made no attempt to interdict. And as far as we know, he has 3 cruisers and at least 3 destroyers in this area. Glen equipped submarines aren't showing anything on the periphery. And we have, I think, finally got Wallace Island, yes, into the green as far as aviation support to keep our naval air search going. And Numier is still operating, so we're in pretty good shape in terms of coverage. Aircraft losses, it was mostly a slaughter. As Dutch and British went in and discoordinated attack. Looks like we lost a Kate and 0 or 2 bombing, and the Catalina was shut down. Okay, so we've got some upcoming operations. Looks like we're going to get our fuel and replenishment through this gap. I think we now know what he's up to here. Um, just check these nels and make sure they're only searching up to 9. So I'm going to extend my naval search, look to see if he's got other AKLs that are sneaking their way along here, and we'll intervene. Don't want supplies, obviously, flowing into Manila. That would be um, that would make the recapture of the Philippines much more painful when it occurs. Anyway, look forward to our next chance.